A billionaire's son had tested 12 women in 6 months. 12 dates where he pretended his card declined. Where he worked minimum wage at a coffee shop. Where he took the bus because he couldn't afford a car. After watching his father marry 4 gold diggers who bled the family fortune, Ethan Ashford made a vow. He would never be loved for his last name. So he faked being broke while sitting on a $2.3 billion inheritance. 12 women failed. Some stopped texting after the first date. Others made excuses when they saw his studio apartment. One woman actually asked if he had any ambition at all. Then he met Riley Carter, a single mother working 3 jobs just to keep her daughter fed. A woman who packed her lunch to save $3, who cut her own hair because salons were too expensive, who hadn't bought new clothes in 2 years. When Ethan's card declined at their first date, Riley didn't hesitate. She pulled out her tip money, bills she'd saved for her daughter's field trip, and paid without making him feel small. 5 months later, she was still there. Ethan was worth $2.3 billion. His family owned half of Manhattan's skyline. His trust fund could buy a private island every month, and Riley had no idea. Tomorrow night was the big reveal. He'd bought a ring. He'd tell her everything. He'd prove she'd passed every test. But the morning of his planned proposal, his father did something that changed everything. He publicly disowned Ethan, cut him off completely, froze his trust fund, wrote him out of the $2.3 billion will. Suddenly, Ethan's fake poverty became real poverty, and the woman he'd been testing would have to decide, was her love real enough to survive not just the truth, but the consequences? Before we continue, quick question. If someone you loved had been secretly rich this whole time, testing to see if you were a gold digger, could you forgive them? Comment yes or no below. And if you love stories about love, lies, and the truth that sets you free, subscribe now so you don't miss what happens next. Ethan had been working at the coffee shop for 6 months. 6 months of frothing milk and wiping down counters while $180 million sat untouched in his trust fund. By day, he wore the green apron and took orders. By night, he checked his account statements in his penthouse, watching his fortune grow while he played poor. He'd tested 12 women so far. All of them failed. Then Riley Carter walked in on a Tuesday morning, and something shifted. She was a regular, always ordering the same thing. Small coffee, 1 sugar packet, exact change counted out before she even reached the register. She brought her own creamer in a little container from home. Her daughter, Lily, maybe 6 years old, held her hand and stared longingly at the pastry case. "Mommy, can I have a muffin?" Lily asked, her voice small and hopeful. Riley's smile didn't waver, but Ethan saw her fingers tighten on her wallet. "Not today, sweetie. We had breakfast, remember?" They always shared 1 small hot chocolate. Riley would order it, then pour half into a second cup she brought from home so Lily could have her own. She tipped in quarters, apologizing every time for not having bills. Ethan noticed everything. The worn-down shoes, the faded winter coat with a button missing, the exhaustion carved into her face despite the patient smile she gave her daughter, the way she counted out exact change, no dollar wasted. "Small coffee, 1 sugar packet, please," Riley said, sliding $2.47 across the counter. "I bring my own creamer." Ethan handed her the cup, watching as she carefully poured the hot chocolate. Lily's face lit up like she'd been given the world. That's when he decided. She's next. She's the real test. As Riley gathered her things to leave, Ethan called out, "Hey, Riley?" He'd learned her name from the order screen. "Would you maybe want to get coffee sometime?" "My treat." Riley hesitated, her hand on Lily's shoulder. "I don't really have time for dating." Single mom, working 3 jobs. Just 1 hour, Ethan said, keeping his voice casual. Playground with Lily, Saturday morning. I'll bring coffee. Riley studied his face, and Ethan knew what she saw. A fellow struggler in a green apron. Someone who understood what it meant to count pennies. Someone safe. Okay, she said finally. Saturday, 10 o'clock. Ethan smiled. The coffee he'd bring would cost $15. She'd never know he could afford 1,000 more. Saturday morning, Ethan arrived at the park with 2 artisan lattes that cost $15. He'd pretended to wince at the price, like it was a splurge. Riley was already there, sitting on a bench with a small cooler bag. I made extra sandwiches, she said, pulling out plastic-wrapped PB and J's. Hope you like them. Ethan's chest tightened. She'd made him food, while he had billions. Lily ran to the swings, her second-hand sneakers lighting up with each step. Pure joy in something so simple. Her dad left 3 years ago, Riley said, watching her daughter play. Took money from our joint account and disappeared. Left me with $40,000 in debt. His debt, but my name was on everything. She said it matter-of-factly, like reciting a grocery list. No bitterness, just fact. I work 3 jobs now. Coffee shop mornings, cleaning offices at night, retail on weekends. Lily's in after-school care. Subsidized, thank God. Most days I only see her asleep. Riley's voice cracked slightly. Some days I feel like I'm failing her, but I'm trying. Ethan felt something unfamiliar. Guilt. Real, nauseating guilt. She was drowning in poverty while he played dress-up in it. I'm in tech support, he lied, the words coming easily. Small apartment across town. I send money to my parents, so it's tight. He forced sympathy into his voice. I get it, the struggle. Trying to make it work on minimum wage. Riley looked at him then, really looked at him. Yeah, but we make it work, right? We survive. No self-pity. No bitterness. Just quiet determination. Ethan, Lily called from the swings. Will you push me? He crossed the playground and pushed her gently, watching her squeal with delight. When he looked back, Riley was smiling. Not the exhausted, patient smile from the coffee shop. A real smile. Thanks for this, she said when he returned. For seeing us. Most guys run when they hear single mom. Most guys are idiots. Riley laughed, and Ethan realized something terrifying. This wasn't just a test anymore. This was real. She was real. But he didn't stop lying. He unwrapped the sandwich she'd made him and took a bite, tasting her kindness. It made him sick. Their second date was at a small diner. Ethan had chosen it deliberately. Nice enough to matter, cheap enough to test. Riley insisted on ordering the cheapest thing on the menu despite his encouragement to get whatever she wanted. Lily colored happily on her paper placemat, turning it into a rainbow garden with the free crayons. I got a raise at the coffee shop, Riley said, a genuine smile breaking across her tired face. 50 cents an hour. I almost cried when my manager told me. Ethan's chest constricted. 50 cents. He made more than that in interest every second. The check came. $24 for all 3 of them. Ethan pulled out his card, a basic debit card he'd gotten specifically for this, and swiped it at the table. Declined. He'd made sure of it. I'm so sorry, Ethan said, practiced embarrassment coloring his voice. I thought I had enough in my account. Riley was already reaching for her wallet. Hey, it's okay, I've got it. She pulled out cash, wrinkled bills that had clearly been folded and refolded. Probably grocery money. Maybe money she'd saved for Lily's school supplies. She counted out $24 and added 8 more. "Don't worry about it," she said, smiling at him like it was nothing. Like she hadn't just given him money she desperately needed. "Next, one's on you." No hesitation, no judgment, no flicker of disappointment in her eyes. The server came by, and Ethan watched in horror as Riley left nearly a 30% tip. "She was really nice to Lily," Riley explained. That night, Ethan stood in his penthouse, the one Riley would never see, and stared at the $24 sitting on his marble counter. He'd reimbursed her account anonymously through a complicated transfer, but the cash sat there like an accusation. He told himself he should feel triumphant. She'd passed the test, proven herself generous, kind, unconcerned with his supposed poverty. Instead, he felt physically ill. Riley had given him money while he had $180 million sitting untouched in a trust fund. She'd tipped generously despite counting every penny. She'd smiled at him with genuine warmth while he lied to her face. The test was working. And that was the problem. Month 3, Riley invited him to her apartment. The heat hit him the moment he walked in. Oppressive July heat with no relief. "Sorry," Riley said, wiping sweat from her forehead. "A C's broken. Can't afford to fix it yet." It was a tiny one-bedroom. Lily had the bedroom. Riley slept on the couch. Ethan noticed everything his father's investigators would have cataloged. The fridge nearly empty except for Lily's food. Juice boxes, string cheese, apple slices. Riley was skipping meals. Lily's toys were all secondhand, many broken. She didn't complain. "Want to see something embarrassing?" Riley pulled out a notebook, color-coded and meticulous, every penny accounted for. Rent, utilities, Lily's aftercare, food, medication. She traced the numbers. "If I can save $50 this month, I can fix the AC by September." Ethan stared at the desperate math. This wasn't a costume. This wasn't a test. This was real poverty, and he was watching it like a spectator sport. One check, one phone call. He could fix everything. "Riley, I need to tell you something." "Mommy?" Lily appeared in the doorway, her face flushed. "I don't feel good." Riley's hand flew to Lily's forehead. "Oh God, you're burning up." The panic in her voice was immediate, real. "I can't take her to urgent care," Riley said, more to herself than him. "I hit my insurance deductible. It's $200 I don't have." "I have it," Ethan said quickly. "I can help." "No." Riley's voice was firm. "You're struggling too. I'll make it work." She took Lily to the free clinic. 4-hour wait. Ethan sat beside them in plastic chairs, watching Riley fill out financial assistance forms, swallowing her pride with each question. He could end this. Right now. One call to his accountant. He didn't. That night, after they'd gotten Lily's medication, subsidized, finally approved, Riley cried in his arms. "I'm a terrible mother," she whispered. "I can't even afford to get her medicine." "You're an amazing mother," Ethan said, meaning it. "The best." Inside, a voice screamed, "What am I doing? This isn't a test. This is torture." But he kept lying anyway. Months 4 and 5 blurred together in a haze of falling. Ethan was falling in love, and it terrified him. They went on free dates. Library story time where Lily sat wrapped during reading hour. Free museum days where they wandered galleries. Playground Saturdays where Ethan pushed Lily on swings until his arms ached. "Is Ethan my boyfriend too, Mommy?" Lily asked one afternoon, completely serious. Riley laughed. "No, sweetie, but he's our friend." "I wish he could live with us," Lily said. "Then you wouldn't be so tired." Riley's eyes filled with tears. She blinked away quickly. Ethan started teaching Lily math when Riley worked late. She was struggling with subtraction, getting frustrated. He made it a game. Riley thanked him like he'd given her gold. "My ex-husband left without warning," Riley told him one night. "Took money from our joint account and just disappeared. I thought he loved me. But when things got hard, he just left." She looked at Ethan. "I'm scared to trust again. Scared to let Lily get attached." A pause. "But you're different. You're kind. You're here." The guilt was crushing. She was trusting him while he lied about everything. Then month 5 brought disaster. Riley's hours at the coffee shop were cut. New owner, reduced staff, $300 a month gone. She took a 4th job. Overnight grocery stocking, midnight to 6 a.m. 4 jobs, 4 hours of sleep a night. Ethan watched her fall asleep standing up at the playground, catching herself with a jolt. "I can lend you money," he started. "No." Pride straightened her spine. "I'll handle it. I always handle it." A week later, Riley pressed money into his hand. "Your hours were cut too, right? Take this. For rent, $100 in 20s. Her tips, money she desperately needed." Ethan almost vomited from shame. She was giving him money while he had $180 million sitting untouched. He took it to maintain his cover. Deposited it in a charity account the same day. Couldn't look at himself in the mirror. That night, he decided he had to confess. Had to end this torture. He bought an engagement ring, $25,000 from his trust fund. The irony was completely lost on him. He'd tell her everything, propose, rescue her from poverty, prove her love was real. Even in confession, he was still testing, still controlling the narrative, still playing God with someone else's life. Ethan called his father, unable to contain his excitement. "I found someone, Dad. Someone real, who loves me for me." Warren Ashford's voice was ice. "Who is she? What family?" "She's not from that world. She's a single mother. Works hard. Good person." A pause. "Where did you meet her?" "At the coffee shop." "The coffee shop where you're pretending to work minimum wage?" His father's voice dripped with contempt. "I'm not pretending. I am working there, living like a normal person." "You're embarrassing." The Ashford name, playing poverty like it's a costume. Warren's anger was palpable. "This woman, does she know who you really are?" "Not yet, but I'm gonna tell her tomorrow. I'm gonna propose. After lying to her for 6 months, she'll understand. She loves me." His father's laugh was bitter. "Then you won't mind proving it. Without the trust fund safety net." "What?" The line went dead. Ethan didn't know his father hired an investigator that night. Didn't know Warren confirmed everything. Riley's poverty, Ethan's deception, the entire 6-month charade. He found out the next morning when his phone exploded with news alerts. Billionaire heir's poverty, hoax exposed. His hands shook as he read. Complete details of his deception. Riley's name, her address, her 3 jobs. Photos of him at the coffee shop next to photos of the family penthouse. His father's statement was brutal. "Effective immediately, my son Ethan Ashford is disowned. His trust fund is frozen until age 35 per the terms I control. He's removed from all company positions and written out of my will. He wanted to experience poverty. Now he can experience it for real." 47 missed calls. Riley's number again and again. Her last text, "Is this true? Were you lying to me this whole time?" Ethan stood in his barista uniform, staring at the newspaper with his face on it. The proposal ring was in his pocket. The confession he'd planned, the rescue he'd orchestrated, all of it destroyed. His corporate cards were declined. His penthouse access revoked. His trust fund actually frozen. His fake poverty had just become real, and the woman he loved knew everything. Riley showed up at his apartment an hour later. She didn't knock. She had the key he'd given her last week. She threw the newspaper at his chest. "Were you ever gonna tell me?" "Yes. Today, I was going to propose and tell you everything." "Propose?" Her voice cracked. "You were going to propose after lying to me for 6 months? I fell in love with you. Really in love. This wasn't supposed to happen." "What wasn't supposed to happen?" "Me. You falling for the poor girl you were testing." The devastation in her eyes destroyed him. "I gave you money from Lily's school supply fund," Riley said, her voice shaking. "Money I needed for her field trip. You watched me take on a 4th job while you had billions sitting in a trust fund. I cried on your shoulder about not affording Lily's medicine. And you just watched. Riley, I thought you understood what it was like to count pennies, to choose between electricity and food. But you were just playing dress-up. Poverty, tourism." Her voice broke. "You turned my real life, my actual struggle to keep my daughter alive, into your social experiment." Ethan tried to explain. "My father married 4 gold diggers, 4 women who loved his money and left for richer men. I was scared. I wanted to find someone real. So you lied? I know it was wrong, but you are real. You proved you're real." He gestured helplessly. "And now I actually am broke. Father froze everything. I have $800 in this apartment. This is real now." Riley's laugh was bitter. "So you're actually poor now? Actually struggling like I've been struggling my whole adult life?" She stepped closer. "Good. Maybe you'll learn what you put me through. Maybe you'll understand what it's like to be tested, judged, used. I love you. I love Lily. That's real. That was always real. How am I supposed to know what's real? You lied about everything. Your job, your money, your life, your reasons for being with me." Her eyes filled with tears. "For all I know, you're lying about loving us too." Ethan pulled the ring from his pocket. "I bought this 2 weeks ago. Before any of this. I was going to ask you to marry me." Riley stared at the diamond. $25,000 of glittering proof. "You bought a ring that costs more than I make in a year, while watching me work 4 jobs to afford Lily's school supplies." She looked at him with something like disgust. "This ring could have paid her medical bills for 2 years. Do you even understand how insulting this is?" She threw it on the floor. "I don't want your money. I never wanted your money. I wanted honesty, partnership, someone who saw me as an equal, but you saw me as a test subject." Riley walked to the door. "Stay away from us, I mean it. Lily's already asking about you. I won't let you hurt her more than you already have. Please, give me a chance to make this right." She turned, tears streaming. "You can't make this right. You can't unlie to me. You can't give me back 6 months of trust. And now that you're actually poor, now I'm supposed to, what? Take care of you?" Her voice turned to steel. "No, figure it out yourself, like I've had to my whole life." The door slammed. Ethan stood alone with a $25,000 ring on the floor and $800 in his bank account. For the first time in his life, he was completely powerless. And he'd earned every bit of it. Week 1 of actual poverty hit Ethan like a sledgehammer. $12 an hour, 40 hours a week, $1,920 a month before taxes. Rent was $1,200. After taxes, utilities, and food, he had maybe $150 left. He ate ramen and peanut butter. His electricity bill came late. He hadn't known you had to budget for utilities separately. He finally understood Riley's color-coded budget notebook. her desperate mathematics. His father wouldn't take his calls. His former friends mocked him in tabloids. Poverty Prince gets reality check. His father's business associates called him a social experiment failure. Week 2, rent came due. He was short $200. His work shoes had worn through. He'd needed new ones. "Pay by Friday, or you're evicted," his landlord said. Ethan worked double shifts, begged for overtime. Still short $80. He considered calling his father. His pride wouldn't let him. Friday came. He was evicted. He moved into an extended stay motel, $45 a night, eating most of his paycheck. One room with a hot plate. Shared bathroom down the hall. This was what real poverty felt like. Not cute, not noble, not a test. Terrifying, degrading, exhausting. No safety net. Week 3, Sunday afternoon. Ethan was at the laundromat, his first time doing his own laundry, when Riley walked in with Lily. Their eyes met across the washing machines. "Mommy, it's Ethan." Lily's face lit up. Riley's hand landed on Lily's shoulder. "Come on, sweetie. Let's use the other side." "Riley, please, can we just talk? I have nothing to say to you." "Mommy, why can't we talk to Ethan?" Lily's voice was small and confused. "I miss him." Riley's eyes filled with tears. "Because sometimes people aren't who we thought they were, baby." She left without another word. Ethan broke down in the laundromat, crying in front of strangers who pretended not to see. He finally understood. You can't test love. You can't buy forgiveness. You can't control the outcome. This was what he deserved. If this story hit you in the heart, we need to hear from you in the comments. Here's the real question. Was Ethan's father right to disown him? Did he teach his son a valuable lesson? Or did he go too far? And here's the harder question. For everyone watching, if someone you loved had billions and gave it all up to be with you, could you let them do that, knowing they might resent you later? Drop your answers in the comments below. We love seeing the debate. And don't forget to subscribe to Soul Story for more tales about love, lies, and the truth that sets you free. Smash that like button if this story made you think, and share it with someone who needs to hear that real love is worth more than any amount of money. Thanks for being here. See you in the next story.